change every day. I know that we're here to stay, going to the moon.
So hello, welcome back to the Alex and the Moon Gals video podcast. We are very, very happy to have Jordan Harry with us today. Jordan is a speed reading teacher. I don't know if you still are, but we'll find out. And most of all, the Chief Marketing Officer for Phoenix Community Capital. So hello, Jordan. If you want to give us a quick elevator pitch of what you do and what Phoenix does, that would be amazing.
Excellent. What's up, world? As you can tell, I'm from the UK, if you can tell by my British accent. When I'm not teaching people how to learn faster, I'm educating people in the crypto space. I came in here the same way many people did through the pandemic. Made me realize I wasn't financially literate, and that crypto was one vehicle which arguably is, in my opinion, the only asset class that outperforms every other when it comes to return on investment. So as I dived into that rabbit hole, mainly through XRP, I found there was a whole plethora of choices in this space. And I realized that the main issue in this space is access to information. And we were, joking offline about retail investors, and it's a whole new language. And arguably at times this language is designed to keep people out, right? Because if you don't understand it, you fear it. And if you fear it, you're definitely not going to want to learn about it. So my number one mission as a retail investor myself was to make abstract concepts as simple as possible. And 3 years in now, it's led me to Phoenix Community Capital, where we are bringing legitimacy, transparency to DeFi space with the ambition to build the biggest table in the space where everyone can eat. And I'll be sharing exactly how we're going about that mission.
That's very exciting. Lots of stuff. Thank you for coming, first of all, as well. That's amazing to hear. And you're absolutely right. I mean, when I first came into the crypto space and tried to learn more about it, that's the first thing that you're faced with is always terminology, and it's obviously constantly evolving as well. So it's exciting to have somebody come in and kind of clarify that. So what's the response? What have you got from the community? Are people being really engaged? Are they learning a lot? Are they giving you some feedback?
Certainly at the beginning, and I say this to anyone who wants to put content out there, it was finding a way to entertain, but also educate people. And so fortunately for me, I've never fit into a box, especially being a speed reading memory coach and being mixed race. I have tattoos. I like chains. I don't fit into the typical educator box. But then when you dig beyond the surface and you realize, oh, this guy with a really cool sense of humor, he actually knows his stuff, but not just that. I can connect with different audiences. And I also understand there's a massive audience that won't connect with me, and that's okay. And what made me different, e.g., being mixed race, being 18 years of age, teaching speed reading, teaching crypto now, has made me succeed, has made people be like, oh, he either looks like more me or he doesn't look like the average investor. And I'm a big supporter of women in crypto as well. We might have a chance to talk about what I'm doing over there as well, because if you don't see people that look like you, you're not going to get into the space. So 3 years in, we're seeing a lot of diversity coming into crypto now. And I'd like to think I've contributed 1% to that.
That's good. That reminds me, for some reason, I know it's off topic, but it reminds me of Disney princesses, and how people always say, little girls are growing up and they're not seeing themselves on the screen.
Exactly.
So they don't see themselves as beautiful. So now we're getting more diversity with that. You're getting mixed race princesses and bigger princesses and more, I say, butch princesses and princesses with glasses and everybody. So I think that's fantastic as well. And also, I mean, you specifically focus on the crypto space, and I noticed you've got a big platform on YouTube. So do you not think that, yes, you don't fit in a box, but also crypto is very much, there's a lot of young people coming into that space especially. And so despite the fact that you don't fit in a box, you are very much one of us, one of the young people who are interested in the space. And YouTube is obviously, I don't want to say our platform because it's everybody, but there are a huge amount of young people. So do you think that, yes, you don't fit in a box, but certainly you're very much part of the community and everybody responds and is very respectful and friendly amongst each other? I mean, have you seen that on Discord and YouTube and everywhere?
There's definitely two parties in crypto. In crypto, we have the degens, which is a term fairly new to me, and I don't even use it because I hate labeling people. But there are people who associate as degens. Are any of you degens?
I can't say I know what that term means.
No, I don't know
can't-
either.
Oh,
My
good.
apologies.
Alex is
It's
definitely
I've seen it a lot. It was once I went into the DAO space and got involved in the DAO community. There was degen everything, bow-tied, degen island. I didn't penetrate these groups, so I'm not quite sure.
Please
I mean,
do enlighten us, though. Really, I would love to know.
It's my pleasure, because once I joined Phoenix Community Capital, which is only 90 days old of this recording, by the way,
Wow.
Degen is, yes, it operates in this DeFi space. It's these people who act anonymously, often have a certain terminology online, like spelling things wrong, intercapitalized words. But beyond that surface, they often ape into projects, right? Meaning easy come, easy go. And there's very little loyalty to a project as long as it makes them money, right?
Right.
So that's a polite way of calling it degen. And if a degen's watching, I hope I've done you justice. Because they wear, it is worn with a badge of honor in that community. It's shameless, they know they're degens, and that's okay. For me, I'm a geek. I'm a boring, intelligent investor, especially investing in XRP. You have to be.
Like the way it
attract-
rhymed, by the way. Very nicely done. I've got a feeling that was on purpose as well. Go for it.
Although maybe they'll say we're the degens for investing in XRP. But what I found was, regardless what party you're in, is I've always made positivity louder. And you'll find on crypto Twitter, your newsfeed is a social algorithm, right? It's a feed that feeds you. And you either use it as a tool or it uses you. And I've been very fortunate to always make positivity louder. So when I had 100 followers on Twitter, if someone said something negative, I was fast with the block button. And then what happened was people who followed me were really positive in my comments. And I always feel bad for people who have the time to come consume my content they don't like and take more time to leave a negative comment. There's something wrong with them. And what's been really beautiful is anyone who sadly has had taken that time has been met with a lot of people who are a lot more positive. And so over time now, if you try to leave negativity on my posts, you find I don't respond. I've never responded. So they go elsewhere. And so I make positivity louder. And like I said, there was a group of people that don't relate to that, but the people who do, we all feed off one another. And so I live in my own little social algorithm where my newsfeed is full of love and positivity. If I see people arguing and not having intellectual debates, I'm really quick with the unfollow button. So I've been very fortunate to only experience love in this space. I've never seen any racism, sadly seen sexism in the space though. That's another topic, of course, we can cover. But most importantly, one thing that ties everyone in crypto together is we're here for one goal, which is to free ourselves financially. And every investment means something to someone. So I know, being the CMO at Phoenix, that everyone who invested in it, that means something to them. They've taken money that they could have put elsewhere and they've given it to us, and we have responsibility to do right by them. So, so far, positive, smooth journey.
That's
lovely.
vital to maintaining your mental health on Twitter and crypto social media, because it can be pretty brutal. So you've done well to sort of cultivate a more positive space for yourself, definitely.
Thank you. And hopefully, again, we talk about like seeds like. I'm not afraid to tell another account, whether it's anonymous or a real person, that I love them, right? And that toxic masculinity aspect, it's gone out the window with me. I will tell people on a weekly basis, hey man, I love you. Hey, you're doing great work. And if people think I'm a cool guy and they're like, oh, he's a cool guy and he's saying I love you and being nice, maybe that's cool. I hope that's the impact it's having on the community.
I think that's a really important impact to have. I mean, so I'm an educator. I've been a teacher for 17 years, deputy head teacher, now left to pursue crypto.
Ooh, that's not a transition you see often, is it?
No.
Financial freedom.
But I am still very much have education at heart. So obviously you've spoken about how you look at rapid reading and that positivity. How do you see crypto potentially entering education and the opportunity to educate people at a younger age about the possibility of financial freedom, expressing their art potentially through NFTs. I feel it's still very much undervalued within the education system. And Alex and I are on a little bit of a side mission to try and change that as much as we can.
It's a fantastic question with no short answer, and we'll put the world to rest in this conversation. But I do know of an individual called the Crypto Coach in the Netherlands who is going into schools, and he is teaching under 16-year-olds about blockchain technology, about NFTs, how to make money in crypto, because we know crypto is a very broad umbrella term. And it does come from the top bottom. If you can't get the buy-in from management, e.g. in a school, the deputies, the heads of curriculum, you're not going to come in. And so having gone into schools teaching speed reading and memory training and trying to disrupt the curriculum there, I've given one talk, sadly, to a university online about crypto. And by the end of it, they were like, oh, great, fantastic. Then a couple of weeks later, I got a very long email and it made me cry. I'll tell you why it made me cry. Because in the email, the same person who said thank you said I should be ashamed of myself. I said, It's like my manager was in that room and used that whole hour to sell XRP, sell Ethereum, sell NFTs. You gave financial advice. You told people how to avoid paying taxes. And I was like, huh? After the presentation, you thanked me. You loved it. And my DMs blew up with people thanking me, right? Then I realized in the email, the manager had obviously slapped him on the wrist for bringing me in. And the manager had told him off. And so he now had to attack me and my character and make an apology to all the students about all the things I said and disassociating all the investment advice I'd given to them about this space. And that's the tricky thing about what we do, is because we are teaching people to do something they haven't done before, which is consider looking this way instead of that way. Telling them the hard truth that £100,000 is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. And understanding that you could earn a lot more and that paying taxes, you should look at ways to reduce your taxes. You should look at creating a limited company and looking at how can you take your crypto profits through that and reducing your taxes, and that paying taxes should not be the norm. Do it smartly, follow the law, of course, and make sure you speak with an accountant. But we should find ways to reduce our capital gains tax. And schools, of course, they have powers above them and they have frameworks. And I don't know if and when that financial advice will ever be ready for them.
Did you ever watch that film, The Pursuit of Happiness, with Will Smith?
Yeah.
Right? So I think that it made me think of that film when you were talking a moment ago in terms of, and also Vicky mentioned it, in terms of how it wasn't accessible to people, you know. And that film, you've got Will Smith, who portrays an incredibly intelligent character. And unless he's given that opportunity to get into the stock market, which he's only given because of his just sheer determination, he would have never had a chance, right? Whereas with crypto, he could have literally done it from his house. So it's the evolution of times. And like you say, it's a beautiful thing to kind of let everybody come into this, and people, not everyone's for that. You know, a lot of people feel that some people have to get rich and some people don't, whereas in reality, there's enough money for everyone. We'll just have to make sure that you start your talks and maybe this video with, this is not financial advice for entertainment purposes only. We'll be fine.
Ironically, after I had my little tears, went for my run, I came back and I told him where he could buy XRP on BitTrue. So then I gave him financial advice. But that's the problem, is what we're talking about, we're disrupting people's paradigms. And we have to accept that with time, hopefully. And hopefully there will be time for people to open them.
I think something like Phoenix as well can actually be seen as almost more accessible for the average person who might be slightly cryptophobic, because it's not just, as some people see it, like invisible money, or you know, you can see that it's a business that is investing in real things, and I think you guys are gonna certainly be helping some people get into it who wouldn't otherwise have done so. So that's that's good.
I just want to ask a question on that Phoenix Community Capital. Sorry. So obviously it's all about investments there, but is it just investing in crypto, or is there a wider space there?
Of course. So when we set out, we want to be the first VC blockchain, right? So what does that come with? Well, the premise is quite simple. We looked at Strong Block and we understood that their tokenomics worked, but they were flawed. And I'm a Strong Block investor myself, where I run nodes. Don't quite know what my nodes do, but they do things.
They give you stuff.
They've got RPC endpoints, you know. I'm joking, I do know, but I'm not going to get into it now. But with us, we looked at Strong Block. We're like, we love some things and we identify some issues. And so things that we did love was the idea of course, paying people out daily, ensuring those rewards were not cut. But instead of relying on solely new nest creation, new people coming in, which, like I say, phase 1 is slowly coming towards an end. And hopefully, once this is put out, phase 2 will be announced. Is our main focus was, okay, we take 20% of everyone's investment. And that goes into our treasury wallet. And our treasury wallet, if you can think of it, is a community fund. So we all put our money together. And then what happens is investments that potentially we would never have access to. For example, buying a company, a gaming studio, buying shares in a company like Ripple, which mainly is for an accredited investor, well, behind an entity with an SEC approved financial advisor, we can actually make these investments. So collectively, we can put our money together. We can be part of these deals where we create a decentralized exchange like Swapsicle, and we can make a deal and we can say, look, we'll give you $60,000 for 15% of the transaction fee that you take. Brilliant. And with that, of course, we'll give them additional support as well. So now what happens is we are building our own ecosystem of businesses, and we want them to do well. Hopefully the community who've invested in us will go and join their community and help them do well, because the more they trade on that decentralized exchange and the better that decentralized exchange does, well, those profits come back to us into our wallet. And this is where we were talking offline. Phase 1 is nest creation. Phase 2 will mainly focus on the performance and the profitability of our incubated projects. Because what we'll do is with those profits from Swapsicle, from our NFT marketplace, and so much more to come, roadmap will be released hopefully tonight or tomorrow.
Exciting.
Exclusive. I can say that because I know this ain't going to be released for a little while, hopefully.
Yeah. We'll release it tonight. Quick.
No, Alex is sabotaging me. But with those profits from our successful businesses, we can perform a buyback. Now, how often will we perform that buyback? We haven't disclosed yet. And even internally, you know, we're not going to lie to you and say we have it all figured out. But the most important thing is we aim to ensure a high sustainable price. We're not afraid to talk about price. We know right now price is falling, right? Because why? Because people are selling, people have hit their nest goals, and people aren't necessarily buying their nests, and they're waiting to see what's happening with our incubators. And they're often taking profits to invest in our incubators, which we want. We want people to take profits. We've made videos showing you how to sell your fire. And we've also educated people on how to responsibly sell. So the big vision for us at Phoenix Community Capital is we are building as if we're going to be a 100-year company, right? Aim for the moon, you land on the clouds. Phase 1 was, of course, build our community. And we've got one hell of a community. Phase 2 is ensuring these incubators are profitable so that we can perform buybacks. If not frequently, there'll be large buybacks that ensure that it doesn't rely on that word, retail, on simple buying pressure from new nests, but actually relies on the performance of our incubators. We perform the buyback. And I can answer the question in a moment of what do you do with all the leftover fire then? Because of course, if we buy the fire token, increasing the price, now we're left with loads of fire token. And I can answer that if you want.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So on that, like obviously you're looking at lots of different spaces to invest in. You mentioned NFTs, you mentioned plenty of things, right? And who is making the decisions of what you're investing in, how much you're spending? Because I know it says a lot about risk analysis, right? And so who's making those decisions? And I mean, I'm just wondering, you know, why should we trust? What are the credentials? What is it that says we know what we're doing?
Yeah. So for us, in crypto, a week is like a year, or maybe not that exaggeration, but a week is like a month. And so although we've hit 90 days, we understand the community have been really graceful with us, because we've been 90 days and one of our incubators hasn't gone live yet. In fact, we're just about to get it to go live. But even then, it's probably another 30 days until profits start coming in, right? And so the reason why was to build a team, right? And for us to build this team, we were aiming to have 100 new team members within this month. We're falling a little short of that. And so 100 team members, what does that mean? Well, we need a whole team to assess these investment opportunities. So we brought in Madden King, who is the SEC recognized financial advisor. He comes with a tremendous background, most notably being one of the early investors in Ripple. He won't say it, but humbly, he has really led the foundations for Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz, the C-level team over there. And he has decades of experience. And so that individual, Madden King, who has been through, and this is something we should all look for, when you're looking for any safe investment, you want to invest in a company that has been through many bear markets, who've been through financial crisis, who are war veterans. And Madden King is definitely a war veteran. And so he's also bringing 2 of his financial advisors on board. Again, by the time of this announcement, he is our Chief Revenue Officer. So all things numbers will go through him. We appreciate that although we might be able to identify a good project, the numbers never lie. So that's the team that we have backing us, being led by Madden King. I'll definitely send you some links to his funds that he manages as well, and the portfolios of the companies. So we've got people much smarter doing that job for us.
Brilliant, thanks.
Sure.
Alex, did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
We'll edit this bit out.
Yeah, because I have another one, but I don't want to hog the whole time.
Yes, I have. So let me get back into podcast mode.
Sorry, John.
It's fine. It's fine.
So my question is, Jordan, if you could have a fantasy investment that for Phoenix Community Capital to make in any company, be it crypto or non-crypto, not based on anything you're currently doing, obviously, so that you're not contravening any secrets, but yeah, you can pick any company, any project in the world that exists right now for Phoenix to invest in. What would that be?
Wow, never been asked that question. And I'm glad you asked me, because I know I'm going to be asked that more. So my own selfish reasons, almost like the SEC, my opinions do not reflect my organization. So if we could invest, and I love using the word incubate, because it's not just throwing money at something, right? It's bringing it in-house, giving our team, our community over to them as well. For me, we are all about, of course, giving back. That's why we are called Phoenix Community Capital. It's the center of what we do. It would be looking at how could we create something which could support education in this space. And I smile because it's something that is coming, where we can collect all this information. It can be financially viable to cover its operating costs, but ensure that there's a charitable outlet as well. So education is key in this space, because that's how people feel empowered. So if we can create some sort of aggregator that pulls all that information together, and we can support that, if I put it quite bluntly, like the Wikipedia of crypto, where people go to, that's the trusted source, and it's updated and it's built by the community, because there's no way we can keep up with how fast this space moves. Similar to OnXRP. I don't know if you are familiar with OnXRP.
That's the guys that are behind X Punks.
Yes. That's right. So Xpunks, arguably the most notable NFT project on the XRP ledger, huge success. Don't quote me on this, but they took the majority of the profits and they built another business, non-for-profit, called On XRP. And it's the one-stop shop to learn everything about XRP, Ripple, what's the difference, who's who in the company. And what's beautiful about that is if you want mass adoption, if we want more people to come into this space, we need them to speak the language. So that's something I would personally love for us to either support on XRP or for us to create our own one.
That would be
Very
very
interesting.
handy.
Yeah.
You're right, we can't keep up with the amount of coins that are launched constantly, and especially now that DeFi is growing as a space, you know, and at a very fast pace, we definitely need something that we can check it all out, because who can keep up with them? I think it'd be an impossibility. Absolutely. You know, I think your audio might have gone out there. No, it's not, because for sure. And I was like, oh, has the audio gone? No, cool. Yeah, well, you know, the one thing I really loved when I was looking at the website and everything is the NFTs that we mentioned just there. They're beautiful. They're so pretty. And it really kind of makes you have this vision of the rebirth of the phoenix, you know, coming from the ashes. And I quite like the idea of, you know, the phoenix rising and profit and investment and the possibilities and being able to come from all different social classes, all different backgrounds, and come up and rise and take profits and stuff. But what's the message? Why do you see investments, crypto and phoenixes together? Is there a message there?
So the message really comes from, and how it was all born, was the $1 million mistake. Not mine, thankfully, but our co-CEOs, both Eric and Luke. So they met back in December on one wintry night in 2021 in a chat room. They had both been stung by a certain project that starts with the R word in the DeFi space. I don't want to say it, but we'll move past it. But that DeFi project that started with an R, it stung a lot of people. And they were two of them. As a community, as a whole, well over $1 million was lost, sadly. It led to manhunts taking place, looking for the developers, because another term, doxed. Doxed was a new term, yeah. Not common in DeFi for you to know who's behind the projects. Yet in traditional finance, we know the C-level people, we know the junior people. It's kind of the norm and expected. That's why we were like, yeah, to build legitimacy and trust, you need to know who's building this. So they had collectively lost over $1 million, and they realized, look, we need to clean this space up. So during December, which some people called Rugcember, there was a lot of rugs, Olympus, Hector. I'm not saying they were rugs, but what happened was it was a snowball effect. Panic selling. We're still in a very emotional marketplace. We're humans after all. And so a lot of people lost faith in nodes as a service, DeFi as a service, investments as a service. And they thought that would be the perfect time to create another one. Ambitious, to say the least. And from day one, we came under a lot of attack, as you can imagine. And from day one, we didn't have all the answers. And we still don't. We have a little bit more, but we're still finding some of the answers. And so to finish, why did we feel Phoenix was appropriate? The message behind rising from not just traditional, but also rising from DeFi, because we want to be the gold standard, right? We won't always get it right. We'll be the first to hold our hands up and we'll say, this is what we're going to do. We'll go do it. And then we'll tell you, see, we told you we would do this. We really want to make positivity louder. So those undoxed teams, those potential rug pulls that are hiding in the corners, they can't hide no more, because they will look at Phoenix Community Capital, whether we are the most profitable community, regardless, and say, look, this is the most transparent, legitimate company out here. They're incorporated, they're doxed, they've got their paperwork in line, they're building a corporate structure, they have AMAs, they're leading the standard, and we want everyone else to step up with us as well.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, for Alex and I, we felt it was really important that we doxed, so people know who we are. We have our LinkedIn, we show ourselves on camera. I talk about my past in education, Do you think there's ever a genuine reason for projects not to dox?
I think there's two. I think there's two main ones. I'm a big believer in security, cyber, and of course offline physical security. So let's go with the virtuous reason, which is their own safety and security.
Yeah.
I do understand that because we operate in the online world. Certain individuals, maybe ourselves in this room, are high net worth individuals. And being online, you automatically have a bullseye on your back, especially in blockchain. You can see almost every transaction. So people can very quickly pinpoint maybe my wallet and spend more time trying to access my wallet. So if I could say anonymous and not share that I just set up a nest, and then they go on Snow Trace and like, oh yeah, see, look, that must be Jordan. He said he set up a nest at that time, and he did. That anonymity, it does allow people to sleep easy at night. People have families. I do respect crypto Twitter can be toxic. And like I just said, that certain project in December, communities were getting together to hire hitmen to kill the developers. Yeah. Discord had to get involved.
No pressure, Alex. No pressure.
Yeah.
See, now we're really going to behave, aren't we?
100%. But that's the thing. Like when you dox yourself, you kind of remove that possibility for you to act in a malicious way.
I quite recommend doxing, actually. It in a weird way, it feels quite liberating. I can't really explain why, but you may identify Jordan, maybe.
I feel because selfishly, being a good person, doing nice things makes you feel good. Like I'd love for one of you to argue with me.
No, I mean, I like being doxed because I am really genuinely proud of XRdoge and the project, and I just love to tell everyone I meet.
Yeah.
I've always got an XRdoge badge on everywhere I go, and I'm like, oh.
Good.
So,
So Vicky.
yeah, it's freedom, isn't it? And it means everyone I meet, I can talk about crypto to.
Yeah.
Some listen.
Also, I think it helps people have faith in you. You know, if you're proud of your project, then people are going to be like, wow, you know, there's a reason that she's proud of her project. There's a reason she can come out and talk about it and show it off. So it also develops more trust, doesn't it? Potentially. I don't know.
Let's hope.
And it works because, like Jordan, as I was saying to you before we started recording, you being doxed and you going to bat for Phoenix and saying it's you know, it's legit is the only reason I looked at it in the first place. And then I was completely convinced that I'm fully on board once Luke and Eric were fully doxed and you know, their LinkedIns are out there, and it's powerful. So case in point.
Thank you. And as I was mentioning with the doxing from the selfish perspective, is because we can never know how other people are going to react. You know, we can't control. And it's lovely hearing, by the way, the feedback. But the selfish reason is when you open a door for someone and they say thank you, it makes you feel good. And I would love to create a world where that's a competition, where being selfish is who's done the most nice things. I am happy to live in that world. And so for me, when I walk around at an expo in Dubai, America, in the UK, and I'm eating a meal, someone can come up to me and say, thank you, man. Oh, who are you? Hey, I follow you on Twitter. Just say thank you. Really appreciate da-da-da-da-da. For example, Alex, you share that story with me. And it's like, yeah, I'm happy to meet up with you. Like, yeah, let's break bread. Let's hang out and let's talk about our families and what impact that's having. Because at the end of the day, I'm very philosophical. I won't stop. I won't stop.
Just don't put me in a triangle choke or anything, will you? Because I don't have any defense.
For anyone who doesn't know what he's on about, I do mixed martial arts. I don't.
I was wondering. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Where
Are you one of those hitmen, Jordan, that was hired?
No, but it also ties into what you were saying. You know, before we started recording, Jordan, you mentioned that you like to make positivity louder. And you may say, yes, it is for selfish reasons in terms of you do something good, it makes you feel good. But at the same time, you do something good for someone, they feel good, and you feel good. So it's like it's a role of positivity. So
you missed something. So to jump in.
No, go ahead.
You do something good for them, they feel good. Now that person does something good.
Yeah.
And you start this cascade effect. And I've started to see this when I do random acts of kindness. I'll pay for someone's afternoon tea and I walk out and the waiter will be like, hey, someone just paid. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, now they've got £50 spare, but they're like, ooh.
Where do you have afternoon tea?
Yeah. We're booking.
You should sort of send my mum to the Savoy and I ate maybe 2 finger sandwiches and some coffee.
£50.
I'm never taking her back there.
That's crazy.
Alex just taking me on Thursday to the Savoy.
Well, we might go, but we'll see who takes who. It could be me.
I'll give you a heads up. You'll need over £100 for 2 people at the Savoy.
Oh my God.
Right,
Why don't you go to a nice little independent place, little cafe, support the little people, come on, bring back into the community. Don't go to the Savoy, you don't need that.
We won't be allowed in ever, don't worry.
True, I definitely wouldn't be allowed. No.
Savoy's very posh in the UK, by the way. We have afternoon tea here. That's our big flex for the Americans.
Yeah, we have high tea.
High tea.
Oh my God, high tea.
I'm more of a Sunday roast girl myself.
We have high tea.
Now we're degenerating. We're degenerates, you see.
We are. That's great. So Vicky, do you want to go on to your question and the extra fun round?
So, if you were to just choose one person as your crypto hero, who would you choose?
I love Coach JV. Yeah, Coach JV. Coach is cool. I don't know if you know about Coach JV, but
No.
I watched yes, was it you or the Bull who interviewed him? I forget.
Both. You know, we've been interviewed by him. We brought him on. Tomorrow I'm speaking with him, and he's got an event next month. Yeah, Coach JV, if you don't know about him, he, especially as a man, he definitely is a role model to being a great father, to being a great human being when no one's looking. I think that's what's powerful. That's really hard. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think we need more of that absolutely in the space to promote that integrity is really important. And yeah, okay, I will definitely check that out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Not just in the space, but everywhere, definitely. Everywhere.
And people do need a coach in the crypto space, because it is, you can just get into it and just lose your head because it's hard
and so
to find
much
a path.
misinformation, and just very easy to get. We call it the Wild West sometimes, because it's it can feel a bit like that. But yeah, we need to spread that integrity and that genuineness so people want to come in. How are we going to make it mainstream if it's got that negative kind of feel?
Absolutely. And I think also, they'll often say, do your own research, but a lot of people don't really know how to do their own research. Exactly. You say, do your own research all you want. And if I'm thinking, oh, crypto, I'm going to become a millionaire overnight and buy a Lambo, I'll just find all these little coins, and they don't know how to find the legitimacy and how to look for. I know that we shouldn't be looking for flaws, but I think anybody who's a wise investor would certainly be looking to check everything, not just the good. You want to see the bad too. Is that bad something you can live with? Is it something that platforms offered solutions for, to grow from and to develop in a way that it can cover it, So yeah, knowing how to do your research is so important. And I think that a lot of us do need a coach, someone who can clear out the weeds and make the path a bit more visible. Definitely. And from that, I'd like to ask you, if your investments blew up within crypto and you did become a millionaire overnight and bought yourself a Lambo, what would your ultimate purchase be? You can be as ludicrous as you want, as wild as you want. What would you buy?
Let's go billionaire.
Yeah, well, do whatever you want, trillionaire. I mean, go crazy.
So no one's asked me that question either, but the question I have answered, which I thought you were going to ask me, which I'm trying to dance around and buy myself time with an answer. What would your perfect day look like?
Yeah.
And that question, I went through Jordan Peterson's course. I won't bog you down with who Jordan Peterson is, but I went through his course, and one of the questions on his course was, what would your perfect day look like? And many people don't know. I didn't know. And it's something which you constantly have to reassess, because like that question, if you became a millionaire tomorrow, billionaire, whatever that number be, well, what would you do? What does your dream lifestyle look like? And slowly but surely, you may realize you don't need $1 million. or maybe you need 1 billion. But the problem is people have an arbitrary number. I need to be a millionaire. But they don't understand that their dream perfect day would only cost maybe £300,000 a year. And so when you ask me, what would that one single purchase be? I would arguably say, sounds outlandish, but I'm a big believer in having, it sounds really weird, having control over my environment. Yeah, I'm in crypto. So I would love to buy an estate, buy land, and have my friends, my family live from this village, this town. No, I wouldn't be the dictator. Maybe I would. The power. But I would love a decentralized city of my loved ones where there is literally no agreements. You have this plot of land, you have these resources, build what you need here. But these are my people and I want to look after you. So as outlandish as that might sound, it's not that impossible. And so if I work backwards, maybe there's 10 people I want to put on my land. Okay, but that's 10 homes. That's not actually crazy. There's people who have a property portfolio of 10 properties. Getting them in a decent radius, okay, a little bit trickier. But then you just got to build on a big enough land. So that would be my most outlandish purchase, because selfishly, I want the people I love around me so I can go knock on their door like I'm a schoolboy and be like, hey, you coming out?
It's so interesting that you should say that, because I have often thought that, not so much buy the land myself and provide it, but certainly I have a group of friends and we're always talking about buying a house where we have lots of rooms and we can all live together. And I think a lot of people do feel that way, not only because you have that structure, that social, the friends, the family around you, you can help each other out as well when you need to. It's so nice. But what's interesting is that we're saying, wouldn't that be amazing to have that in the future? And yet, I can't speak for all countries, but I know that in Britain, we used to be more like that. Perhaps not financially free, but certainly communities lived closer together. You know, when my grandparents talk about their childhood, they'd never locked the door. The mum was up the road, aunts down there, cousins across the road. And we lost that. And I think a lot of us are, in some ways, desperately trying to get back to that. Because even though I never stopped traveling, I love traveling. But also, when I come home, I would love if my family and friends were, walking distance, cycling distance, just like, hey, how you doing? Interesting.
I mean, I'm fortunate in that I live pretty much in that situation, and it is lovely. So I live in a little close where I have 3 other cousins that live within that set of 40 houses. My brother lives down the road, and my parents live next to my brother. So it's my dad, and my mum lives a little bit further down the road, and I have friends, and it's wonderful. I mean, I could spend months not having to go very far. Local pub, local shop. It's a really peaceful lifestyle. And when I go online and it's a little bit more hectic, it's such a contrast. But I think I'm fortunate in that I'm able to go back into this almost oldie worldy situation, and it enables me to stay very grounded, I hope.
Bearing in mind that Vicky's island, where she lives, you could probably walk from one end to the other end. So, no, but surely it's not very big, is it, Vicky? You can walk.
It's 9 miles by 5 miles, but there's 120,000 people.
That's a lot of people for such a small place, actually. No, good stuff. I love it.
So I think that's a great aim to have.
Yeah. I think you've sold me on it. I think that's become my answer if I ever get interviewed.
No, that's a great thing about these, isn't it? You can get some answers for when people ask you a question and you're on the spot and you're like, oh God, wait a minute, Jordan Harry said that was a good answer. There we go, bang.
It'll just be a patchwork of every guest we've ever had.
That's right.
But I can definitely sell it as a dream. It's beautiful. It is lovely.
So now is time for the meme of the
technical
week.
part.
Technical file. White paper.
So I'm just going to share my screen in just a moment. And Jordan, if you could pick your favorite meme from the 3 we're going to present you with.
I really thought we were going to bring up the white paper. The geek in me was like, let's go. I think the white paper.
Favorite white paper.
I'm not going to lie. I did check out your white paper earlier. I read it.
I was like, the business expenses, we don't touch into the treasury wallet.
Tell us all about it. But yeah, we've got some memes. You're gonna love them. No pressure as to which one you choose.
So can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Right, number 1.
Okay.
Is it just me or is it great? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel a bit like him lately. Although a massage today took me back about 10 years, so that's good. Or old mate Pablo.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be that one. It's gonna have to be.
Ah, you won, Vicky. Nicely done.
Hey, Alex, your turn next.
Is
that yourself? Do you identify there, John?
The good thing is, talking about, you know, creating my own environment, pretty much all my friends and family have crypto because of me. So they come to me and I'm like, okay, let's talk. So when I'm in a space where no one wants to talk about crypto, yeah, sad Jordan.
We'll find you out in the garden. You get so involved in something, it does become your entire life, doesn't it?
No doubt. You know, it goes without saying, like, it's 8 p.m. UK time. I work on Eastern time. Why? Because most of my friends are American internet strangers. And, you know, I'll be up till 2, 3, 4, 5, conversating. Hey, I've changed my body clocks because I love talking to them. And it's that old cliche, you know, it's not work if you enjoy it. We understand there's times where we don't necessarily enjoy it that much. But when we understand what we're doing here, boy, does it become easy, because I sleep easy at night, knowing that the challenges I face, there's people relying on me, there's people whose lives are being changed, and I want that to continue. Beyond being part of a community like HBAR, XRP, XRdoge, etc., you never feel truly alone.
That's true.
Yeah.
The beauty of the online world and the internet. God, imagine if they took away the internet. I said that, you know, we can edit this out, but I don't know if you heard, but the Russians were going to turn they were going to turn the internet off for someone. I can't even remember the news. And I just sat there for a minute and I just thought, what would we do? Oh, I think it was for France, actually. And I just thought, what would we do without the internet? I honestly, we'd be so lost. We're so reliant on it now.
It would be great in a way, because there would be no choice. You wouldn't feel like you're missing out on anything, because I lost
my entire business is online. I would definitely feel like I'm missing out.
Our cottage in Wales that we go to, we've only literally just got the internet, but before then we had no internet, and the conversations we used to have were brilliant because we didn't have Google. Yeah. Because, you know, when you were watching a film and you're like, what else have I seen that person in? And then we'd end up like brainstorming and discussing and like, but then we'd have to go to the pub the next day to use the Wi-Fi. We'd have a list of things to Google.
At least you wrote a list. I've had that conversation so many times. And, we'll look that up. And we never write a list. And then you have the Wi-Fi and you're sitting there and you're going, what are we going to look up again? And nobody can remember ever.
As we kind of draw to a close, Jordan, we've got you a little gift that I will be posting out to you at whatever address you desire. It was made by our XRdoge community member Tyler Boone, who makes custom metalwork. So I don't know if you'll be able to see. I can only see myself small on the screen, so you have to tell me if you can see. It's a Phoenix key ring, and it's got a little X for XRP.
Guys and girls, that's incredible. Thank you, honestly, because you didn't have to. And wow, I will represent accordingly. I was gonna say, if I can help after this, I'm more than happy to, but now I feel guilty because of reciprocity, right? Now you've done a favor for me.
Not at all.
When we stop recording, then the favor comes.
You want this?
Like,
you want this? Honestly, thank you. And that's going to take all three of you a really, really long way, honestly. So please keep doing what you just did for me with everyone else that you bring on. Honestly.
Thanks for the advice.
Awesome.
I wanted to ask something, but it's just totally gone out of my head. You know when that happens? So annoying.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, you mentioned this is just, you know, off record or whatever, but you mentioned earlier about women in crypto, and yes, you were doing stuff for that. I'm actually quite interested. What are you up to?
Excellent. So if you don't mind me kind of siphoning over you to another platform, let me get the link up. because they've changed the name since I got involved. They're on Clubhouse. Do you use Clubhouse?
I do not. But I could.
No, I heard of it, but never used it.
Yeah, it was really big at the beginning of the pandemic. It was this exclusive only, like you had to be invited and you only had like 5 invites.
Wow.
Genius model. But then of course it plateaued very quickly. Here we are. So it is called Keep Calm and Crypto. It's ran by some of the most powerful women in our Babel Ball Discord. They came together because we have quite a lot of women in our Babel Ball Discord. And they realized that more women needed to hear female voices. And so they're starting to interview and bring myself, the Ball, and other names in the space. And every Thursday at this 9 p.m. every Thursday, because the clocks have gone forward Eastern time, they get together, the ladies, and they pick a topic, whether that's staying safe in crypto. Oh, one moment, my partner needs me. Give me just...
No worries.
It's that. I like the way that it's keep calm in crypto.
They talk about crypto. So really strongly recommend Emma, Vicky, and even you, Alex, to check it out. Men are welcome. But the most important thing is female voices are heard. And yeah, they have no alternative motive. They're not looking to get sponsorship. They just do it because it's fun. And it's evolving. So yeah.
Definitely. I have to check it out.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Even Victoria/Alex can come along. Safe space now.
That's an
Well,
in-joke.
people before I doxed and when I was quite new to the team, people just assumed for ages I was a man because I hadn't done any speaking. It was just, just a kind of a symbol, and they just automatically assume if you're in crypto, you're a man. So then I appeared, and they were like, "Oh, I thought you're not a man." No.
And now you've got a big fan club, especially in Telegram.
That's true, actually, Vicky, because I've been on a couple of platforms, and quite often there's a chat, and it's like ask any questions, and they've been crypto platforms, and it's always been someone, and they've asked, and they've said, "No problem, sir." Yeah. Yes, sir. And I'm just thinking,
just default.
Bit of an assumption, isn't it?
I'm guilty because then the usernames are anonymous, non-binary sometimes, so you default to male.
Yeah.
But I try to catch myself. I really do.
Well, that makes a difference, I think. Being aware.
Yes, certainly.
Everyone.
Amazing. Okay, so I guess we'll wrap it up. But Jordan, thank you so much for coming on. As I said, Phoenix, one of my absolute favorite projects. So it's been an honor. So thank you.
I appreciate
absolutely.
That.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I really feel like we've learned a lot, and it's been lovely to meet you too. You're a lovely guy.
Thank you, ladies. My mum dragged me up all right.
See, powerful women. There you go.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks so much, Jordan. Have a lovely evening. See you again.
Going to the moon and far beyond. See green candles every day. I know that we're here to stay. Going to the moon and far beyond. Flying on our own exchange. I know that we're here to stay. Going to the moon.